It's very frustrating, and then it's on your mind all the time. It's like more money out of my pocket, more money.
A Lakeside man has received several parking tickets and he can't figure out why. We're working for you and digging for answers. Plus, political text messages flooding your phone right now. I know they are mine. How candidates get your information and what you can do to stop it. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Conard. Here at CBS 8, we're working for you, listening to your concerns, investigating your questions, and finding solutions that matter in our community. We begin in Lakeside, where a man says the county keeps sending him parking tickets and he can't figure out why or how to fight them. He recently reached out to us for help as he tried to get some clarity. News 8's Abby Black working for you to get to the bottom of it.
Dan Scott says that he's been able to park behind this no parking sign for years without any issues. Well, then recently he and some neighbors have been getting tickets. Well, he's tried to contest it and can't find out why. We're working for you to find out what's going on and what these arrows mean on no parking signs.
These are the parking violations.
3 parking tickets since February, including 2 over the weekend on Julian Avenue near Channel Road in Lakeside at $62.50 each. Dan Scott says he can't figure out why.
The code is 72.117, posted no parking.
We traced that to a San Diego County ordinance about no parking in designated zones, but it says nothing about what the arrows on the signs actually mean.
No arrow facing to the east, which means it's legal to park to the east.
Scott shared pictures of several cars with yellow tickets tucked under their windshields, all appearing to be parked within the legal zone. He also shared Ring doorbell video capturing a parking enforcement officer in the act. So Scott called the number on the ticket and spoke to a sergeant.
Why are they ticketing now? People have been parking there for 40 years. She said, oh, well, they're just getting away with it, and we just now caught it. I said, that's not true. I said, you're wrong.
We did our own digging, checking the California manual on uniform traffic control devices. Here's the short version. The arrow points to where parking is restricted. So a left-facing arrow means don't park behind the sign. A right-facing arrow means don't park ahead of it. And arrows in both directions don't park on either side.
But as far as I'm concerned right now, it's legal parking for everybody.
What's even more frustrating, Scott says he can't fight it.
Once you punch in the ticket and everything it tells you to, it just says can't find it. And I tried for 30 days.
While he was waiting, the first ticket hit his DMV record. We found under California law, unpaid parking fines can be collected at registration. And by then, late penalties and fees had stacked on top.
And I can't contest it now, or I won't be able to re-register my Jeep. So that was really frustrating. It's like, come on now.
The county tells News 8 drivers who believe they were ticketed in error can request an administrative review within 21 days of the citation, but it did not address why the online system failed to find Scott's ticket number.
If they would just send somebody out and let's talk about the signs, but they don't. They just seem to think that they're in the right and everybody else is wrong. And that's very, very frustrating.
Working for you in Lakeside, Abby Black, News 8.
If your phone is constantly receiving political text messages, you're not alone. Steve Price working for you and looking into how campaigns are getting your number and what you can do about it.
Election is now just a week away and the push for your vote is really heating up. One way they're getting your attention, political texts. But how did they get your number in the first place? And how do you make it stop? You're getting those annoying text messages because they're cheap to send and they work.
Text messages have the highest rate of open, and they're able to reach those voters and get their message across, even if it annoys you.
Political analyst Laura Fink says there's so much information out there about voters that text messages can easily target the desired audience for a fraction of the cost of mailers.
We've been hearing about all kinds of political calls and texts, just like almost terrorizing people.
Teresa Murray with CalPERG says, believe it or not, you probably gave those texters permission to send them when you signed a petition, donated to a political campaign, or signed up for something online.
You really have to read the fine print because they don't necessarily make it easy for you to understand that, yes, you're giving them consent to contact you anywhere and everywhere all the time.
Working for you, we discovered there are a few things you can do to stop the text when you receive one. open it and click on the circle above the phone number. Then look for the Block Contact tab near the bottom of the page. Hit that and it will prevent that number from sending you more texts. You can also reply to the text asking to be removed from their list.
If you get a text, regardless whether you think that you consented to it or not, just reply stop.
And they have to take you out.
And they have to take you out. You can revoke your consent at any time.
And that's probably your best bet because political texting is going to be around for a while.
I think we're going to see, whether you like it or not, a lot more text messaging as long as it remains effective.
The good news, this should all stop immediately after Tuesday's election, at least for a few months until the general election campaign season ramps up. Working for you, Steve Price, News 8.
Yeah, just got to block and delete, right? A lot lately. Right now, we have new information about the status of the former Mimi's Cafe in Mira Mesa that has sat empty for years. News 8's Shannon Handy working for you to explain what's replacing it and why this project has stalled.
A viewer emailed us wanting to know why this space still hasn't been filled. Signs outside say Lazy Dog is coming soon. Today, I learned the restaurant chain is moving in, but not for a while.
Sitting at the corner of Mira Mesa Boulevard and Westview Parkway, it's hard to miss what's changed and what hasn't at the old Mimi's Cafe.
Everybody that I know has been talking about it and we're waiting on it. I mean, I would like to see Lazy Dog come and make it happen. I mean, I don't understand why it wouldn't happen.
Mimi's closed during COVID. Neighbors say the building sat empty for years before construction started on its replacement, Lazy Dog. Signs promising it's coming soon are still up. It's even listed on the company's website. But on the ground, nothing has moved for months. A new structure is showing rust and weeds have taken over the lot.
I haven't seen anybody out there in a long time.
I would say years. It's obviously very lazy.
Recently, a Reddit thread popped up with a photo of a poster someone put up making fun of the never-ending coming soon. Comments included, I drive by that every day and try to determine if anything has changed. And my wife and I talk about the status of this monstrosity every time we drive by. So what's the holdup? I reached out to both Lazy Dog and the Mira Mesa Community Planning Group. While neither responded before deadline, I did find notes from the planning group's March meeting. According to those minutes, a Lazy Dog representative said the project is moving forward, but it's one of 5 locations nationwide facing delays. The development team has changed and some minor architectural revisions are being proposed. As for a timeline, back in March, they estimated 2 more months for updated drawings, 4 months for permitting, and another 3 to 4 months for construction, putting completion roughly a year out. Working for you,
I want progress.
Shannon Handy, News 8.
All right, coming up here, Governor Gavin Newsom has a request for when the polls close on Election Day. Plus, we have an update on a Working for You story in PB. We'll show you what went into this playground project. Well, the June primary election is almost here. As voters cast their ballots and county election officials prepare to tally results, state leaders are discussing ways results can be counted faster. News 8 State Matters political reporter Jenny Ha has the details.
1 week until primary election day, but there's a request looming over county officials. A request by Governor Gavin Newsom for them to more quickly count and announce election results.
I do think that the expectation is that we expedite the process.
Elections officials go as fast as possible to ensure voters are not disenfranchised and that the vote is accurate.
Mixed reaction from California leaders to a letter by Governor Gavin Newsom asking all 58 county election officials to expedite their vote counting. In the early May letter, Newsom writes, quote, the longer the voting count takes, the more mis- and disinformation spreads, noting administering elections has reached a breaking point.
He's putting a lot of pressure on election officials.
Does speed necessarily equal more election integrity or a prevention of mis- and disinformation?
No.
There is a need to identify a need for ongoing funding because a lot of these mandates are falling onto counties.
Jesse Salinas is the Yolo County Registrar of Voters and president of the California Association of Clerks and Election Officials. Salinas says it's actually state laws that delay the vote counting process.
The statutes that are currently in place have to be modified.
For instance, Salinas says for this June primary, the earliest a county can certify election results is June 26th, 24 days after Election Day. That's because state law mandates mandates a window in which voters can cure their ballots, like fix their signatures.
I think that we really need to be focusing on the accuracy, the security, the transparency, and the enfranchisement of voters. I invite the governor to pick a county and go and watch the canvass procedure.
And experts say California relies heavily on vote by mail, which naturally takes longer to count. They not only take longer to get mail to elections offices, but also have a rigorous verification process.
Californians have chosen vote by mail. That's a lot to process. And a lot of them come in down to the wire.
And per state law, as long as a ballot is postmarked by Election Day and received by election officials within a week of the election, the vote can still be counted.
We're going to have to process and verify all those signatures, and that will take time.
This Governor Newsom's response when asked about the letter during his budget revision presentation.
Get your act together. Get these ballots, counted. No new resources in today's presentation, but absolute full commitment and cooperation with the legislature to land that in the final budget deal.
Jenny Ha, News 8.
And we have an update on a Working for You story. After nearly 2 years, kids in Pacific Beach, they finally have their playground back. News 8's Abby Black has been on this one from the start.
I've been working for you for more than a year on this story. Families and kids saw the old play structure come down here at Faneuil Park in Pacific Beach. Donations came in, and now kids can slide into some summertime joy.
Look that one!
Some things are universal.
Now, as a grandfather, I know it is even more so not to stand between kids and their playgrounds.
And as April Banowski tries to tell me about the old one, you can hear her son. He makes LaCava's point for him.
It was very,
Working for You, let's take you back to how this started. In the fall of 2024, News 8 first reported the city pulled the play structure because it was unsafe and had been damaged by king tides. They had corroded. The city did not have the budget to replace it.
We even considered funding it through the Mission Bay Improvement Fund. But it was clear that if we took that path, it would take years before this park and the playground would be reestablished.
We continued our coverage. As community donations came in, the city turned to the San Diego Parks Foundation for help. They raised $45,000 and landed Zoom Recreation to donate and install a $200,000 structure.
These collaborations truly make a difference. Let's celebrate PB and everyone who lives, works, and plays here.
2 play structures, 3 slides, a water area, all made from recycled plastic to withstand the king tides.
Where you get less of that heat retained and you don't have that corrosion from the salt spray coming off the water. So you get a product that's not going to have to deal with that down the road.
The original swings and spring toys remain there as well.
What about the colors of the playground?
Okay. Blue.
Blue? Blue, yeah. Do you like the blue?
Yeah.
More than a year later, LaCava was right. You don't get between a kid and their playground.
We love this park, and we're so sad that there wasn't a playground, and now that it's here and it's brand new, it's so exciting.
Hey.
Working for You in Pacific Beach, Abby Black, News 8.
Does look pretty nice, doesn't it? Chula Vista's free Bayfront shuttle is a hit, and service is now expanding. When we return, more on the changes and where leaders want to take it. Welcome back. 16,000 rides and growing. Chula Vista's free Bayfront shuttle getting bigger this summer to meet all the demand. News 8's Vanessa Paz working for you and shows us how the shuttle is becoming a bigger part of Chula Vista's Bayfront vision.
Just last week, the city of Chula Vista announced it's expanding hours and adding a 5th shuttle to its Green Line that connects the Bayfront with downtown's 3rd Avenue Promenade. So starting this summer, the Green Line will now operate daily from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., while the Blue Line stays the same, running from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The city is also adding a 5th shuttle to the fleet, increasing capacity and cutting down on wait times as ridership grows.
Chula Vista's Bayfront is going to be a destination regionally, and we want people to come down, and we want our own residents to enjoy it. The shuttle program, which is free, allows community members to enjoy the Bayfront without any parking hassles.
That was Chula Vista Mayor John McCann, and he says the free service, which launched less than a year ago, has already transported more than 16,000 passengers.
This is incredibly exciting for me. It took 22 years from the beginning of the planning to actually getting the Gaylord Pacific open, and I'm just excited because now we have that foundation where people are finally coming down to the bayfront and enjoying it.
City leaders say rider feedback actually helped drive the latest expansion.
We had a lot of feedback from residents that it ended too soon. So now the new hours will be from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So they don't have to sit there and go, oh, it's 5 o'clock, so I got to get back. They can enjoy the evening hours for summer.
The changes are part of a summer pilot program with the city tracking ridership to see if the later service could eventually stay permanent. The shuttle is a partnership between the city and MTS, and the entire fleet is fully electric, designed to reduce traffic and encourage more people to use public transit.
People can use public transportation instead of getting in their car. And what that does is it gives the ability to people to use less of a carbon footprint.
City leaders say the shuttle will play an even bigger role as more destinations across the bayfront open, including a new splash pad under construction and, of course, the Gaylord Pacific Resort.
It's exceeded everybody's expectations. Out of the 6,000 Marriott properties in the entire world, it is number 3 in revenue.
The city has also added live tracking, so it allows riders to check real-time arrival and departures right from their phones. Officials say this new feature will make the service more reliable and help reduce uncertainty for passengers using public transit to get to the bayfront. In the South Bay, Vanessa Paz, News 8.
And for shuttle hours, routes, and real-time tracking information, visit the City of Chula Vista website. You can find a link on CBS8.com. Just click on this story. Caltrans is looking into creating a so-called bullet bus. The idea is that it would travel on freeways between major hubs like San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco at 140 miles per hour. Caltrans did not specify how much the high-speed buses would cost, but the director of policy and research with TRIP, a national transportation research nonprofit, pointed to challenges surrounding cost and feasibility.
Given the highly congested nature of that corridor on the interstate highways and really some of the secondary roadways, it would be critical that bus lanes would need to be additional lanes.
Caltrans' preliminary report says if it's too expensive, maybe 80 to 100 miles an hour would be more practical. This comes as the future for California's high-speed rail remains uncertain. All right, coming up here, a new vision for San Diego's waterfront. We'll show you the new $70 million project and when it will be complete. Welcome back here. The American Cancer Society is updating guidelines for colorectal cancer screenings. Average risk adults should continue to start colon cancer screenings at age 45. And while the colonoscopy remains the gold standard for screening, the new guidance recommends at-home testing and in-office laboratory blood tests as potential alternatives. A colonoscopy is typically recommended every 10 years. Stool tests and blood tests every 3 years.
That a stage 1 colon cancer can typically be cut out, avoid chemotherapy and radiation versus finding it later. And what these screening tests aim to do is to do exactly that.
Colorectal cancer, now the leading cause of cancer death in people younger than 50 years old, with a 3% increase in the death rate from 2018 to 2022. It's estimated about 1 in 3 people in the U.S. who should get tested for colorectal cancer have never been screened. And Carlsbad's new e-bike laws are now in effect, and police are already writing tickets. The city began enforcement last Tuesday following a 2-month warning period. Riders must be at least 12 years old, and helmets are required for anyone under 18 and all Class 3 e-bike riders. Police can impound bikes for dangerous riding or repeat violations. Fines range from $25 all the way up to $100, plus court fees. City leaders say the rules target a rise in e-bike crashes involving young riders. Well, one of San Diego's most beloved waterfront spots here is getting a $70 million makeover. Yep, Harbor Island, West Marina recently broke ground. The redevelopment has been years in the making. The plan includes more boating amenities, new restaurants and shops, public access, and a major facelift for the waterfront. Plus, it's backed by a new 50-year lease with the Port of San Diego.
It's going to activate this area more than it had been before, not just for boaters, but for visitors, people walking, people enjoying public access to the bay.
The marina will stay partially open during construction to minimize disruption to boaters. The project's expected to be complete by 2028. As we head into the hot and dry months, homeowners in fire-prone areas across the state are bracing for an increase in premiums from California's so-called insurance of last resort. The FAIR Plan has received approval for a 29.1% increase effective in October. FAIR plans provide fire coverage when private insurers won't. But more companies are returning to California, and many FAIR Plan policyholders may now qualify for coverage elsewhere. And those who stay with the FAIR Plan may not face as big of a bill as they fear.
The California FAIR Plan does have discounts for mitigation, and you can look on your policy to see what they are, and then you can have them do an inspection and get that discount.
Overall premiums for the FAIR Plan will vary, with people living close to high-risk fire zones paying higher bills. Good time of the year to get that house fire ready. The surroundings and the perimeter, everything intact there. That's going to do it for us. Remember, if there's something you'd like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com.